Hello, I'm Eric with screenprinters.biz, a website for screen printers, and also breakout.co, a website for people who want screen printing done. So check those out. Anyway, today I want to do this really short, easy, well, maybe easy for me because I've done it for so long, little tutorial about pushing a squeegee versus pulling a squeegee, or vice versa, however you want to look at it. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I've heard a lot of printers who come to me or people that have worked at my shop and said, you know, my last boss told me that I can't pull a squeegee, like I should only push it, or again, vice versa. And some people do both. And I just want to kind of talk about this subject because when I first started printing, I had this order that I had to do for high school. And it was about 500 t-shirts and with white ink. It was like a 3 or 4 color job. But anyway, at the time, all I really knew was how to pull a squeegee. And after hours of printing and printing and printing, I noticed that my hands started hurting, and actually my ring finger, I don't remember which hand it was, maybe both, started to feel numb. And actually it was numb for a very long time. And so I decided I wanted to look more into pushing the squeegee. I don't remember who it was that told me, you should be pushing, you shouldn't be pulling. And it kind of changed my life as far as manual printing goes. It didn't change my life entirely. But anyway, I'm going to show you different methods, well, not necessarily different methods, but how you want to go about pushing a squeegee, because it's almost like pulling a squeegee. I mean, when you pull a squeegee, you want to, obviously you probably already know that you apply equal amount of pressure on both sides, and you end up pushing down with your body, and you use your fingers a lot. You use the pressure right here on your palms, and you're pulling, and after a while, you know, that just starts to hurt. My off contact is pretty high right now, so I'll lower that. I didn't really set up very fast for this job, or I did set up too fast for this job. Anyway, so when you're pulling, you're doing a lot of this with your arms, and you're using the muscle in your arms and in your fingers to push and to push down and to pull the squeegee. Now, opposed to pushing a squeegee, where you can do the same idea, the same concept, except you're using more of your weight in your arms, and you're not using your fingers as much. You're kind of letting your arms, the weight in your arms, just kind of push the ink through, just the same way, the same kind of angle that you would when you're pulling. And at first, this doesn't seem natural to people. They feel uncomfortable pushing. It doesn't seem right to them. But if you keep practicing it, you'll get used to it. And I mean, so now I have the ability to, you know, obviously I can pull, I can push, and it works for mostly anything. It's really great for printing white ink in general. One thing to keep in mind is when you do set up your jobs, you're going to want to choose one or the other, well, at least for each screen. Because you don't want to be pushing some and then pulling some, because there might be a slight change depending on the frame you're using, the mesh, and just the build of your press in general. So you want to pick. Do you want to pull? Do you want to push? But don't do both, because what happens is I see people who will, they'll pull and they'll be like, oh, I didn't get enough ink through, and then they'll push, and then you end up getting these blurry prints, and you ask yourself why? Well, it's because you're pushing the ink, and it's getting, there's a slight movement, it's pushing the screen forward, and then a movement pushing the screen back towards you, thus you getting a fuzzy print. Let me think about this. Oh, and also when you set up multiple color jobs, if you're pulling on one screen and you're pushing on the other, make sure that you're consistently doing that, because it'll change your registration and all that kind of stuff too. So in general, I like pushing. But if it comes down to it, one more thing I wanted to add. If there's an image on your screen that's, say, just a big, fat, round, white circle, and you want to go ahead and try pushing ink through it, it can be a little tough. Big, large areas are sometimes harder to push with. I think it's because, maybe because I'm not used to pushing it as much as I am pulling, because I pulled for many years, and then the past maybe 3 years I started pushing. So for me, I kind of get sometimes stuck, and it's a little bit harder for me to be really fluid with my pushing if there's a big open area in the screen. So a lot of times, if there's a huge open area, I'll pull, and it makes it a little bit easier for me for prints like that. But in general, I love to push. So anyway, I just wanted to give you that short tutorial about that. again, check out screenprinters.biz. It's a website that I just created literally like days ago. And it's kind of like an online community for screen printers, except with a little bit more features than I've seen on other websites. So anyway, I make it for fun. There's no profit involved. So come and check it out, ask questions, and let's talk about screen printing. So thanks for watching.